NSP. You called HUD. They were investigated by the state of Michigan and the FBI. The whole Oakland County, they came down and told me this. They were really disrupted. Their office was disrupted. They found nothing. The FBI found absolutely nothing. Everything was intact. They found nothing wrong with what the township has done or with what that office up there on Elizabeth Lake Road, who has been serving us for over 20 years. Nothing wrong with what they have done. And they would like to have a meeting with the board, a couple members of the board, so that they can let us know how things are done up there. Because, I mean, and from what I understand, the office was disrupted for almost a week. We had no idea that this was happening. I did receive a copy of the FOIA that you requested, 28 pages, mostly about Mr. Ford. I mean, that's you know, that's your right. But nothing has been done wrong. And they said that they let you know in the beginning, Madam Treasurer, that it's, you know, that this was correct. This was done correctly. It was done by a person who has been doing CDBG, Ms. Joanne Day, since she's been here. And they looked at it and it was corrected. And this did not come from me, this came from them. They would like to close this, and they asked me to put it on the agenda for the board to approve payment of services rendered for Joanne Day and Frank Harris for the NSP3 in the amount of $135.99, so that they can close this. And then they would like to, oh, excuse me, one more thing. Now we'll have at the next meeting to approve a contract for Joanne Day for at least 1 year. Because CDBG has changed their format. You used to be able to have 3 years to reprogram. Now you only have 2. And due to the fact that we're still in a 3-year period, they would like for her to help me to close this next out, that she will be a valuable asset to me for catching up to the 2 years as opposed to 3. So I will have that on the agenda the next time. The board, you have the information in front of you, Mr. Ford. You know how it goes, more so than anybody. Well, trustee Thurman, you know as well. This is nothing that's being done illegal. They need it approved to close out the NSP.
Supervisor, let me clear something up for everybody. First of all, this came up at a board meeting probably about 8 weeks ago. And I questioned whether a township employee can be paid from federal funds and receive a check. You indicated that they could be, and to give Mr. Cooper a call. I gave Mr. Cooper a call and I asked him for a check register from NSP 1, 2, and 3. He forwarded me the check register. Mr. Ford's name was listed a couple times. I asked him for, please send me the supporting documentation that you received that would warrant payment to not only Mr. Ford, to Joanne Day, and to Frank Harris. Mr. Puker would not forward it to me. So what I did was I did a FOIA, and which makes them required to provide me with the information. Now this is what they came back with. They do not have a contractual agreement with Frank Harris or Joanne Day, and the agreement that they had with Mr. Ford, because they did have one, expired 12/31/12. I did not contact the FBI. I did contact Oakland County and ask for information, and when I did not receive it, I submitted a FOIA, and their attorney forwarded me the document.
No, you did not contact the FBI, but you did oh, another thing, we do know that you called Oakland County Sheriff on this. Also, when you contacted HUD, that sent off a chain of events that they had, their office had to be investigated by the FBI.
I didn't contact her.
Excuse me, they were contacted. Oh, excuse me, no, you're right. No, you, excuse me, I have everything written down. She did not contact her. Who she contacted was L. Brooks Patterson's office.
That's what you
Yes, that is who you contacted. And from there, they contacted her from their FBI. But regardless, like I said, Oakland County Home Improvement and Community Development has helped this township and helped all of Oakland County, and they have been proven to come out absolutely squeaky clean. There is nothing wrong, as Mike Kruger and his manager, her name is Carrie Wright, said, with us doing these agreements like this, and they would like to have this approved tonight, and they need the minutes to show the, approval. So, board, it's up to you whether you want to
I have
approve
one
or
more thing to
disapprove.
say, Supervisor. I just heard you say there's nothing wrong with us approving these agreements, but we don't have an agreement.
Excuse me, approve the payment of services rendered. It's written on your minutes. Or it says to approve, and I read it, to approve and disapprove the payment of services rendered for Joanne Day and Frank Harris in amounts of $135.99. Yes, ma'am.
Transparency is work, he was an employee at the time, and also he was paid through the township, so the township should have been receiving reimbursement. Not actually paid him.
I know you did, and actually, it was a while before he could take his physical, and it was something that had to do with you and him. I don't know why he couldn't go get his physical immediately. But he was not from what I understand, you're not an employee until, if he would have failed that physical, if he would have failed the drug test or anything, he would have not been able to be an employee in the township. You're not an employee until you're physical. Until you can pass your physical.
Madam Chairman, can
Yes.
I ask a question?
Yes.
I've heard different versions pertaining to this request. My concern, will this money be paid directly from
NSP.
NSP?
Yes.
It will not be
Nothing comes from the
coming from
township.
the township treasury?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
It goes directly to, if you look on the documents that I showed you, the check, it says, please make check payable to Joanne Day, the amount of $99. Please make check payable to Frank Harris in the amount of $99. The only ones that, it comes back to the township was Michael Dunlap and James Owens, because they are and township employees at that time. So they were paid for it. And, the township will be reimbursed. I did give the package. At that time, when I made these packages out, I was told by Mike Cooper to give a copy to the treasurer and a copy to Bill Cunningham, which I did. And the treasurer said she did not receive it, but I know that I made 2 copies. And I gave a copy to her, and I gave it to Mr. Cunningham. I put them in folders similar to these right here. And, I don't know why she said she didn't receive it. But you will also see that Michael Dunlap and James Owens, their money will be paid to Royal Township. Oh, also, Mr. Cunningham, he had one. His money, which he didn't really, his money will go to the township. He's not even receiving it, it's just coming back to the township for the little bit of work that he's done. Well, now, hopefully it's not, because the NSP should be closed. No, that'll be for CDBG, and Joanne Day will be paid out of the CDBG. I asked Mr. Cooper that. NSP is closed, and it will be closed as of tonight if we approve this.
So why do we have to approve a contract for her, in the future for CDBG, but we don't have to do it for NSP?
Because, because, I don't know, maybe he just told me to approve a contract for her, for CDBG. But as NSP, she could be a vendor. Now, I will ask her that. Do you want me to ask if she be a vendor as well? I will see.
So, we're paying her right now under a contract, under the vendor,
Yes.
but she has no contract with us
No.
at the time, so.
And neither did Frank Harris.
Right, I was
And-
talking about both.
right, yes, yes.
But tell me more, what is the process with this? I'm a little confused on this. We're paying as a vendor or a contractor, which is basically the same thing. We have no contract with them. What type of legal ramifications are there, or is there to come back on?
Well, much of the discussion has turned on whether there's a written agreement between the parties that's academic. The real question is whether services were performed and whether the amount proposed to be paid is within the contemplation of the parties. Certainly at quantum error equity, the individuals would be entitled to recover if they filed a lawsuit. The question is who they would file against. But the absence, not all contracts are required to be in writing, and certain contracts are required to be in writing under the statute of fraud. So, this is a NSP-related fund.
So contracts are not required in this situation?
Not every contract has to be in writing. Here, there was no written contract. You would like to have written agreements so that everybody knows the terms, how much it's worth, what the rate is, what are the terms of payment. But many contracts are not in writing. Certain contracts must be in writing to be enforceable. This isn't one of them. This is not the performance of services in excess of a year. So,
Good.
No, we're talking 11 hours and 4 hours. The total, no, Joanne Day was the total of how many hours? We are talking a total of 6 hours for Joanne Day and a total of 11 hours for Frank Pierce.
She said,
Yeah, we paid 4 hours, I paid them out of the township, the township should be reimbursed from that month, he was paid. And he wasn't an employee at that time,
So he was paid for 4 hours,
he was paid for 4 hours. He
but
didn't
not
pay-
the other 7.
No, because he wasn't supposed to be starting work, because the township didn't approve him to be an employee at all.
Well, what I'll do is, I will correct Frank Harris and, contingent that I will subtract 4 hours for it, and you approve this contingent that I will subtract 4 hours and have the 4 hours reimbursed to the township. And Frank Harris, to approve Frank Harris for the 7 hours.
the attorney, so with, I understand as an attorney, so when Joanne, I said that, because I just want to know, how was she contacted the township after fair, did it come before the board beforehand, because I would understand that she was a volunteer to help you out, that's what she was serving the township.
The
When you
township,
said that she was up there helping you.
No.
She was doing it on
This
her.
Joanne has been here,
volunteer program.
this second one, I did not say she was volunteering on the second. Joanne has helped me before this, prior, and she did volunteer.
I know, but the only discussion we had about Joanne in general was that she was helping you volunteer.
Now, let me explain. We had $1,650 that we had to resolve. And Mike Cooper said, pay everybody, because the work that needs to be done to clean up of the 9 lots did not use all of those funds. He said, no, pay everybody who helped, that we have to resolve. We had to resolve every penny of the 1,650.
So where did the difference go? Because this doesn't add to 1,000.
It doesn't, the whole package that I gave you in the very beginning, it does. We resolve every cent of them, up to and including paying Mr. Cunningham, in which that money came back to the township. Because the program is supposed, we can't close it until nobody has got paid. It's a whole thing, it should have been done in August, this is October.
This, excuse me, in the past, the NSP program was, Obama's a brand new program.
Yes.
And, before the money was sent to the township and they made the payments because of a unfortunate experience we had. This is completely new, a new approach to handling that NSP program, right? Because the funding used to come, the few people that,
No, Mr. Ford always received his own checks. Is that correct, Mr. Ford?
after he came back, but originally you weren't here. Originally, a couple of years back, when we got some money, you weren't here, and they were paid, the few employees that was of the township, they were paid directly, the money came to the treasurer.
I think, no, I don't know, I think Mr. Morgan and
Mr.
Mrs.
Morgan,
Reynolds, I
right.
think they also received, no, they received their own checks as well.
It really came down to the treasurer, I remember.
Couple of times,
requested
that's
it,
when
okay.
they, but there were times when they began working on Saturdays, on their own time.
After it was checked.
Yes, and that's when they were receiving.
But my
their own
question
checks.
is, for clarification, is this, because they have completely changed the process, and this is why NSP is paying directly to the people that did the work, is what I'm asking. The township does not have to pay those fees to those employees.
It's not a process. This is a federal grant that usually works on a reimbursement basis, meaning you spend the money and request reimbursement. Because the township doesn't have the money to pay the people up front, the county has to do it.
But I'm saying, at one time, it was, coming directly, being paid out of the township funds. But I went up to that office, and with a couple of, township officials, and talked to Mike Early, and, what's the lady's name? That's why I'm aware of that process. So, what I'm saying, things have changed, okay? All I'm concerned is those people will be paid not out of township funds, but of government funds. That's all.
So we have to pay them first, then we put our money back.
No. If you look at the slips that I gave, this is how they will send out the checks. Oakland County sends the checks out, not us. Directly to them, to their homes, everything. Not us, not come from us.
Yeah, I said that, I told people about it, no, now that you weren't.
I just say for the record, for the record, I would like to just be informed that if anybody is doing money being paid, that township be informed what the township is about, that we all be informed.
I did, when you started with NSP, I did let everybody know what was going on with NSP. So we were paying up the lot, that,
No, no, but, I was looking at the president.
Well, I'm gonna-
I'm just saying.
okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the payment for service rendered for Joanne Day and Frank Harris for NSP.
Should you state on that, Frank Harris will be, we will subtract 4 hours.
I need one motion. 4 hours will be subtracted. I need the totals there.
And math, no, let me see, excuse me, is this correct? Oh, you can do it right here. Okay, Frank Harris, you want to approve him for $11 and $99, the last page. At $99 also.
That's what it is, minus the
It's
four.
on the last page.
And then the remaining, 4 hours will be reimbursed to the township.
So, Mr. Ford, can you read your, motion again, please?
So I'd like to approve the payment for service rendered for Joanne Day for a total of $99 and for service rendered to Mr. Frank Harris for a total of $99. And then the additional 4 hours, if it might be, rendered to the township.
One question, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
Looking at the sheet, would that 4 hours come to the amount of $36 that was paid by the?
Yes, $36.
Is that right?
$36
Okay.
back to the charter
The
township.
$36 should be reimbursed back to the township.
Yes.
He's just asking a question because this is in funds and you're also being paid for this. Is it a conflict of interest?
Well, the board votes on its own budget that contains payroll and payments to itself in terms of stipends and paychecks, as long as the current resolution is not a payment to Mr. Ford. I don't see a conflict that would prevent him from voting as a trustee.
You make a motion, Madam Chairman, did you make a motion?
Yes, it's been made, by Mr. Ford. Has it been supported?
I'll support it. Okay.
It's been moved and supported that, payment for services rendered for Joanne Day and Fred Harris for the NSP, both paid in amount of $99 and $36.
Right.
To the charter township road.
Roll call? No?
Ford,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Turner. Yes. Franklin, no. Motion carries.
Item number 7D, to approve and disapprove $10,000 to Parks and Recreation Fund. We will get this money, we will take $5,000 from, the sale of the 2 lots, that we have just received $5,000, and $5,000 from the cable fund. We have, some information from the terms, we have some information about the cable fund, those which we approved at the last board meeting, that those franchise fees can be used. So I would like to approve to keep our Parks and Rec department open the rest of the year, $10,000. As we stated at the last meeting, we owe Park and Rec $25,000. Some years ago, they helped save our senior center. They kept our senior center, if it wasn't for Park and Rec giving us $25,000, our senior center would have been closed. They're in need, we're all in need due to what has happened with the $800,000 from the mail fraud. I don't need to go over it again. All funds were lacking funds. This has put everybody in dire need. So, if we can muster, and as much as we're short and we're hurting, we were able to find $10,000 to give to Park and Rec to at least help keep your doors open throughout the rest of December. Mr. Harris, you'll, get in touch with others to help pay your utility bills. From what I understand, you have a lot of resources to, develop relationships, good relationships with people that'll at least keep your lights and gas on throughout the rest of the year. Would you like to stand up and speak on that, or?
Yeah, we've already made contact actually through Toys for Tots,
Yes.
U.S. Marines. So just as they did last year, they gave us $3,000 donation towards the heat bill. So that'll happen again for this year. And as well, John Wade, who's a former Roller Township resident, he works for Ms. Conlon. So we've been in conversation, not only concerning maybe being able to receive some type of support as far as bill payment, but looking at windows and doors, weatherization and things of that nature. So, as I stated before, it's my hope, my desire that you all will give us the opportunity to continue to move forward, and continue to look for positive resources so that we can develop solid recreational programs.
Okay, and I'd like to say that check came at a better time.
Is this a loan? Is this a appropriation? Is it a payment of loan? Typically what we've been having, attorney working from your office, proceeding with this?
Well, the resolution that I gave was, to transfer the fund from payroll fund to the general fund. And that would, and then the general fund from there would pay the park and rec. Now, that's the resolution that I have. I don't have one saying if the transfer loan, it's not a loan. We're paying back the money that we owe them.
I have a question, because me and Mr. Ford was up there earlier today for about 3 hours, trying to make sure that we did have the money to do this and make this happen. In general savings, we have $42,280.01. $5,000 for the 2 lots in that savings.
I don't know, I would like to, I haven't received the two lots, I would have to check the cash.
The check just came day before yesterday.
So
So
it
it's
does
in
not
there,
affect the
right. It's in
or
there.
it does.
Yeah, because this balance are as of yesterday, so he's getting checks again.
Well, Mr. Ford, did you get a chance to disclose that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Your customer product.
Yes, I did, and, I wish I could get it up on the council table, but I didn't. Okay with that.
So I do I want to come out now, because we know we were doing some serious cutting as well, because we had some fire. I mean, we went through the very necessities before we had such as, light street light disposal, because, everything had everything else. And we had to make sure now the payment transfer of the 5,000, that didn't affect this. The rest of our concern was, will we be able to pay our street lighting, our disposal, and what we do?
Like, I'm being sure.
No,
We will receive our revenue sharing a week from today, October 31st.
And is that what the revenue sharing is going to also cover, the next payment is going to be due prior year?
Yes, it will. And we will talk about that. I will be receiving, we will be receiving a letter from Ferndale in the early part of this week. So we'll be discussing that.
Back to the resolution, so we don't have a resolution that says that we're repaying, approximately $10,000 that we want, budget appropriation. Is there a reason why we don't have a resolution for this house?
okay, we give them for that, this will
Attorney Gordon, do you know if there's a reason why we don't have a resolution for this?
I don't know why there's not an answer to the resolution. If you wish to approve it, you could do so, and state that the resolution should be adopted. If it's a prepayment, if it's a loan, if it's a transfer, that at least should be clear at a minimum in the motion, so that everybody has an understanding of what we're doing.
So we would have to do a resolution. This is part of the 5,000.
Right.
Have a resolution expected on 15,000.
Could you all please speak a little louder?
I think, can I say, Mr. Harris, how long has it been, how many years has it been that you all known this? I don't think they're, twisting our arm to give them the other 15,000. It's been, what, about 2 or 3 years?
So,
And we appreciate it.
it's been 2 years.
Yes.
Actually, I have a letter that came over from the
Yes.
supervisor of the custody board at that particular time. It was supposed to be paid back within 24 months.
Yes.
So, I didn't hear all of Pat's question, but obviously what we're trying to do at this point is keep our doors open. If you ask about time frames and expectations, we would like to see an additional 15. The answer to that would be as soon as possible. So that's, if you're able to do that in 2013, fine. If it can't happen until 2014, that's fine as well, as long as we can keep our doors open and continue to make progress.
bills. But as, what we had talked about doing, rather, sending them the money and stuff, we had said that we were gonna send the 5,000, but it said that we didn't owe him that much, we just owed him one payment. And that one payment was 2,000,
So really what we owe Mr. Trustee Carter is we owe him in excess of $7,000. We didn't have enough in that account, so what you see in accounts payable is the balance that we owe him for September. And we'll get the bill for October shortly, probably the first couple of days.
I also spoke to Mr. White last week when he received the participation and nothing attached to it. He called me, wanted to know what was going on. I let him know our circumstances. He was just very agreeable. He said he's been here some years.
Could you speak louder, please?
As I spoke to Mr. White, he called me last week, and, he wanted to know why did we just receive a partial payment, nothing else was attached, and I explained to him, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you just then when you say, can you hear me now? I
Okay,
couldn't
I'm
before.
sorry. And, I explained to him what was going on, our circumstances, is very tight for us throughout the remainder of the year. He understood, and he's willing to work with us.
Well, I just have one more question for the treasurer. Do we have enough money to give them the 10,000 and pay the insurance, exposed Wayne Street light?
We really haven't gotten to the bank balances, but if you look at the first sheet of the bank balances I passed out, general fund has $42,000. Based on the tables list, the general fund bills are $60,000.
But the mandatory money that me and Mr. Ford that went over, the ones that, like, it's had to be paid now in order for the kids to recognize going over. No, until we get the sharing check next week, do we have enough to give them the 10,000 plus pay the most important ones now? We still move more and take care of the rest of them next week.
Trustee Harvey, you would have to determine what needs to be paid, because when I look at this report, my concern is the liability insurance. So supervisor clause is saying that when the revenue sharing comes in, that we won't be able to pay for liability insurance. But I just want to be clear, we need to look at the payables list. Not only do we have liability insurance that's due, we have workers' comp insurance that's due, we have necessity bill over county that's due. Now the challenge is, we pay our liability insurance for the general fund portion, the recreation has been able to pay their portion, and so has the library. The police and fire have not been able to pay their portion of liability insurance. So we need to make sure that we're able to cover the cost of liability insurance and everything else that is listed on this report that you all determined this report that needs to be paid. Because liability insurance is, I would consider one of the things that need to be covered. The street lighting bill is $15,000. Was that included in your calculation, one of the things that
We are going to set up a partial payment and make arrangements with them for that.
Yes, okay, calling me as well.
Okay, so you all have to list. If you all have determined based on the revenue sharing and whatever you calculated, that we have enough to pay recreation, and recreation $10,000 of their loan. We'll pay the liability insurance, the workers' comp insurance, the medical insurance for the employees, and anything else that you determine that needs to be paid. If you are adding it up, and it was still money left out for $42,000, we can do it.
That's what depending on when we talk with the disposal person. Because the insurance part of it, with all the insurance came a little bit over 18,000. We were gonna give the disposal, he said we're gonna have to give it, what, half, a little less than that.
And also, that we also got the other additional information that we had to have more payroll control. And to that, and we pretty much figured out that, how much we got to work with.
When you calculate $18,000 for liability insurance, did you look at the fire department and the police department, and theirs has not been paid?
Can that be looked at, next Thursday? When we receive our other funds?
It's up to you all. I just want to make it clear. We haven't paid our liability insurance. We haven't paid the workers' comp insurance. There's also medical insurance on there. So if you all, Mr. Ford and trustee, department got together, and mathematically, you said it was still worth us paying the bills that we have to be paid out of $22,000. And I guess we would have to give recommendations here.
But when we came up with the pay, it came up to, you said that we might have to give them 2,000, plus how much from the cable fund we had.
It was about 41, but we told out everything, along what you said. And then if we come out about 41, we put everything together. I'm just saying, you know, we didn't spend all the money, but after we had everything up, $13,000 insurance, all right, we come out about 41,000, correct?
It was, no, it was 42,000.
Well, that's crazy.
40,000, 42,000, 208,000, in 1 cent.
So let me ask this question, you all did not put the 5,000 in here for, Park and Rec, or no?
What's 5,000? Part of what?
So,
What the one
did you all look at the agenda before you did that today?
That's why we were going over. to
Right,
make sure we
so,
had the funds too,
right,
because we wanted to
there's
get
$5,000 that has come out of general fund for the other 2 lots. That check goes into general fund.
That's why I asked, was the $5,000 reflected in the 42,000?
That's
And
correct.
she said it was,
Yeah.
and so that's what we had.
So,
worked
so
with
that's what you think, and up here, today, you did not include the 5,000 on the agenda for Park and Rec.
Huh?
What she said is that you can take $5,000 from the general fund, that is transfer.
Or can you amend this, to we give Park and Rec 5,000 to keep their doors open throughout the rest of this month? After next week, when we receive our revenue share, give them the other 5. That will keep their doors open the rest of the year. They're going to have a Halloween program.
I mean, well, we can do that with no problem, but we probably can give them more, and that's what we're trying to add up now, to make sure we do have the things. We say that the one was trying to do it earlier, is because, you know, when we sit down and look at everything, and look at the bills, it's things that have to be paid, we didn't have $10,000, so we went to cut and try to make sure we did have $10,000. And that's what we're trying to come up with now. We had talked to the disposal guy to find out how much more he had in his house. I mean, but if you do, we go 5,000,
We did it in 7, since the one payment that he said that we owed us, which we had already talked about in the file, so.
Right, so
we only got
see
to
it
get
2,000.
then we still got 3, along with the 5 transfer.
It's up to you all, board. It's your decision, to work on the numbers today. But I know we would like to keep Park and Rec open, the rest of the year. You have, Toys for Tots that's gonna come in, they're gonna pay their gas
We
bill.
understand that's why we try to work to make it happen, because if we can, since he got 3 more thousand knocked off, and the cable fund is $5,471.38, that's $8,471.38 that we can't give to them because from what we had left, what we figured out earlier.
Did you all consider that the recreation department on this list also has $5,000 invoices? Are you gonna pay any of their other bills?
Oh, I thought we were gonna do what they were asking for, they were gonna, they were gonna have it. Yeah, because the main concern was, lights and gas thing on the natural goods. Long, but, Mr. Harris already said he took care of that also.
No, the ones that are on this report are not like gas, so are you saying that the transfer that's being proposed is gonna cover their $5,000 invoices that are on here that are not utility related?
Up on my assumption, that's what I thought.
Mr. Harris?
I'm not sure, we can clarify that.
Again,
To my knowledge, the bills that were submitted after we met, that would be in early October, have already been paid.
Well, these
So
will be,
if you have invoices, I would like to know what those invoices are, because your communication to me has been about trying to make payroll and being able to keep the doors open.
That's
So
correct.
right now, even without seeing what those invoices are, if we know that the U.S. Marines are gonna make the contribution towards the heat bill,
Okay.
and we're working on relationships with consumer powers to be able to bring someone to the table to deal with the light bill, we're working with bare bones. Even though we're due $25,000, because we helped our seniors, we're working with bare bones. So whether it's 10 or 8 or however you all wanna, make it work, let's just make it work and move forward.
Yes, Mr. Harris, with all due respect, my communication with you has been about payroll. And the invoices that I'm discussing on this list are in costs that the township has to pay, we allocate to you all, such as liability insurance, such as workers' comp insurance. So these would not be invoices that you all receive. My question was simply this, when they did their calculation,
We include.
did they include $5,000?
We include all the insurance, Madam Treasurer, we get the insurance, the, workman comp,
And the risk.
yeah, we did all the insurance, that's why we come out to the total that we did, that was our first thing that we did, we did all the insurance, we did all that first.
So Mr. Ford, Trustee Ford and Trustee Hart, can you all go through your list and check off which bill you want us to pay?
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you need that, now you want to,
No.
we come up tomorrow.
Right, because we run accounts payable based on the cash balances. We need to know which invoices off this list you all want paid based on the workshop that you all had today.
So we'll come back up and just try to do it like whatever we can.
So is the motion still on?
So, but though, when it comes down to it, then we don't have to do it 10, we have about 8. Would you be able to function with 8?
We'll be able to function with that.
So now, since we
Ford, no one has, no one has made a motion, so how can we? Pardon me?
You can have a motion to approve
Ford, no, you still have to transfer the 5,000 from the cable fund to the general fund. That's the next key. Board, may I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 8,000 to park and recreation fund, 3,000 from the sale of the 2 lots, and 5,000 from the cable fund.
The 2 lots that Venture bought, they sent their check, day before yesterday.
Okay, I just can't specify what the lots were. Okay.
Board has been, approved.
Resolution for these now. Make sure that we have the language for and not language before we do the transfer.
Oh, good, Can we, put that into the motion, so that we look into a motion for a resolution?
So what is the resolution for? And I think, you guys take what the resolution is going to say.
It'll follow the language of the agenda with these statements of 8,000, 3, and 5, and various funds. Mr. Ford laid out. Resolution,
You'll receive them the first part of next week by next Tuesday.
That's the money transfer after the resolution is approved.
should state forthwith, resolution has to be certified.
So after the resolution.
Motion back to the addition information is added to it. Let me ask you a question. general fund, should there be a, transfer of, cause we already, we have a motion, resolution for $5,000 transfer. Additional dollars gonna be coming out of general fund. It should be to the transfer, right?
No, I think this supervisor Squall said this is a repayment of a loan, that's why Attorney Pentus did a resolution specifically for this situation. That's how I was surprised that I didn't see it. If you say supervisor, this is a repayment of a loan, right? So your motion needs to include that this is a repayment of a loan.
Okay, let me, read that motion back to you.
Madam Clerk, you want you to read the motion back?
Approve $8,000 to Parks and Rec Fund, $3,000 from the sale of 2 lots, $5,000 from the cable fund.
Okay, I like to add in that this would be a repayment of the loan. Repayment of prior loan.
It's the partial.
Partial.
He's saying this will be a repayment of a prior loan with, resolutions
To follow.
to follow.
Partial.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Loan in part.
Did you get my motion?
It says $8,000 to Park and Recreation Fund, $3,000 from the sale of the 2 lots, $5,000 from the cable fund. This would be,
Partial.
this would be a loan part,
Repayment of loan in part.
repayment of loan in part
Parks and Rec.
to Parks and Rec. With resolutions forthcoming.
Is that to be, a repayment of $525,000?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
What else you said about the resolution, can you repeat that?
With resolutions forthcoming.
That's all you hanging pretty late, ain't you?
It's been moved, has it been supported? It's been moved and
Oh, it's
supported.
still early.
May we have roll call?
Squall,
Yes.
Reed,
No.
Ford,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Stern,
Yes.
Brinkley, no. Motion carries.
Okay, item number E, do I need to, approve this resolution? To approve this approved resolution to transfer the $5,000 from the cable fund to the general fund. It's been moved and supported. You have, don't you have to call roll call on resolution? met with elected officials Saturday, October 19, 2013, for prayer regarding the concerns of the welfare of the township. The clergy of Roanoke Township would like to schedule a meeting with you as soon as possible. You name the place and time, and we will be there. You can reach us at such and such, and then they have the contact person. We look forward to your reply. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And this comes from Pastor Eric Burr of Second New Hope, Pastor James Blake of New Mount Vernon, Pastor Wolf of Oakdale Tabernacle, and Pastor Arthur C. Willis. He's the pastor that opened us up in prayer from Greater Maryland Missionary Baptist Church. So I would like this letter received to file. I gave everybody a copy. No, excuse me. That copy came in an envelope. You have it personal, it came.
And that's it.
So, you see the file?
Then hopefully we'll get back and set up a time when everybody, which is convenient for everyone.
You have that under your item.
Yes, I had it taken, so I want you to take my last request off.
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file a letter from the pastors of the community. So moved.
It's been moved and supported. She was here with the first one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
Okay, item number 8, treasurer.
Bank balance. General tax, $4,067.03. Disposal, $120. DDA escrow, $2,156.34. County Adams, $8,260.19. Fire, $90. General checking, $58,851.15. General savings, $42,280.01. Library, $54,914.86. NSP, $254.17. Parks and Rec, $186.49. Payroll checking, $203,294.44. Police, $1,050.31. Old Park tax, $1,048. Street lighting, $90. Township cable, $9,471.38. Trust and agency, $18,218.64. Charter one, $370.81. Charter one, $2,326.17. A grand total of $223,254.99.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve bank balances as of October 24, 2013.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
Next item. Within the last month, the township has gotten 3 return checks, non-sufficient funds. And our bank charges us $25. I did not see a policy where we transfer that cost on to the person who wrote us a bad check. So this is, asking for approval that if a person writes us a check and the funds are not good, the check is returned, then we charge that person $50 for, for a check.
Kind of steep, ain't it?
It's not, because our bank is charging us $25. If we have to contact that person, we're using resources to contact them and say, you wrote us a bad check.
Is it $25 worth of resources to contact them?
That's about to go away.
Because as long as you have to write the person a letter saying, you wrote us a check, please contact us to get this check through.
I'm being real honest with you. I think the going rate is at least $35.
But if the bank is charging 25, we charge 25, that's going away.
We are not a bank. I think, excuse me, and everybody out here in the audience knows that the going rate is $35. Now, I mean,
One thing about it, Supervisor, it's a deterrent Because you won't write a person a bad check if you know you're gonna be charged $50, unless that's just the kind of person you are. But it takes us time, the bank is charging us $25. We have to, I haven't seen any letters, you know, where it's been done in the past, but you have to send that person a letter saying you wrote the check, and the check was returned from the bank. If that person does not respond, you're writing them an additional letter. So it's up to you all what you want to make it, but I'm thinking that if we make the residents and everyone else know that you're gonna be charged $50, maybe they'll think twice about writing us a check that's not gonna clear.
I agree. I'd like to make a motion that I approve return check fee of $50.
Support.
Ford. Third. I agree for it. Not the $50.
And let me also mention that a couple of these were tax customers.
What?
Tax customers.
Where's the middle roll call?
Ford.
No.
Harvey.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Brinkley, yes. Motion carried.
The next item, is really just treasurer updates. I want to let all the residents know that you will be receiving your tax bill between November 25th and December 1st. I'm going to try to get them out before December 1st. And I also want to say that, you know, on a weekly, at least every 7 days, I email the cash balances to all the board members and some of the program managers, such as Mr. Harris. And I also put them in everybody's mailbox. The responsibility for letting board members know, for example, how much revenue we're receiving, what the expenses are, what type of revenue we're receiving. That report is a report that the township has contracted with Bill Cunningham to provide, not the treasurer's office. So if anyone is interested in knowing, okay, this is what we budgeted for the year, this is how much we received today, that is a report that Bill Cunningham provides. And I gave you all in the public a copy of the contract, so there will be no misunderstanding about what my responsibility is and what his responsibility is.
What's the name of that report?
It's a revenue expense report.
So
So,
it's just a regular.
yes, because I understand that some of the board members have some questions about, we don't know when we receive revenue sharing. You do know because Mr. Cunningham did a presentation to the board, I think it was within the last 3 weeks. And that revenue report, if you go down to the line that says revenue sharing, it will tell you how much we received today. If you're interested in knowing how much we spent on legal fees today, if you go to the page that has legal fees, it'll tell you how much we have received today. So you all are receiving the financial statements, because Mr. Cunningham, whenever he does a presentation, he provides that. And I'm sure if you wanted in the interim period, in between the time that he provided the last presentation, you can request that from him and he will provide it. If you have questions regarding how much money is in the bank account, that's what you receive from me by email, and I put it in your mailbox. And I'm also doing that, making that same statement for the public. So if you all wanna know what our revenue is, what our revenue sources are, you can request a revenue report. If you wanna know what our expenses are and how much we spent compared to budget, you can request an expense report. You can also ask questions when Mr. Cunningham does his review with the township. And based on the contract that I included, he should be doing those, I'm not sure if he's doing them on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis, but I think the last one we had was within the last 6 weeks. So that's what I'm going to say about treasurer's updates. The next item that I have is for disposal. I